Welcome. In today's beginning series, I'm going to break down one of my favorite poses, and that is half moon or Ardha Chandrasana. It's another standing one leg balance. And I still remember the first time I was taught this pose. It's one that I really love to do, and I really love to break it down to make it accessible for you. Um, it's good if you're a little bit warmed up before this video, so feel free to scroll back through. I've got lots of quick warm-up classes for you to attend and just get a little bit of heat into your body. I recommend for this video to have a yoga block handy if you can. If not, I'll show you how to work with the floor, but the block really does provide a fair amount of support. So if you can, grab a block. All right. Now, a lot of times when this is practiced in the context of a vinyasa class, you're coming into this pose from another pose. But I'm going to teach it standalone for this video, and I'll make some additional videos that will have it more as part of a yoga sequence. But I really want to focus specifically on the actions of Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. All right, so I'm going to have my block handy, and then I'm just going to stand in Tadasana. Next, I'll turn my right foot 90 degrees to the right, toes face the top of the mat. And I want you to take note the position of my right foot in the block. So the block is about 12, 16 inches in front of my toes, but it's also behind me. So it's going to give me, we'll think of it as more surface area. It's going to help balance. All right, let's get started. With your left hand on your left hip, I want you to bend your right knee as much as you need to. Reach your right hand to the block, and then you're going to shift your weight forward to your right foot, right hand, and you're going to float your left leg up. Now, if balance is really tricky, you can have your left hand down as well. And if you're not using blocks, it might be more like this. You're up on your fingertips. But if you can, hand to the block, and you can continue to keep your left hand down and you can try to work with balance here. That's totally fine. Or left hand to your left hip. Now notice my right knee is still bent, and that's perfectly fine. You want to try to turn your right quadriceps to the right, and we cover that more in the triangle video. Keep your left foot flexed. Contract your outer left hip. Float your left leg a little bit higher. Now, if you have the flexibility, you can straighten your right leg, but remember that's not a requirement. What's more important is that you keep turning your right quadriceps to the right. Draw your navel in. Option, left arm to the ceiling. Breathe here. Stretch and extend your arms. Corset your waist to help you balance. 3, 2, and 1. Release and come out of the posture. It's usually not a very fancy dismount, but that's okay. So we're going to take it into the second side. Once again, we'll start in more of a Tadasana. Turn my left foot 90 degrees to the left. With your right hand to your right hip. Bend your left knee as much as you need. And take your left hand to the block. Now, there's not a perfect place for the block. If you need to adjust it for you, that's fine. But I want you to be mindful that you don't take it in too close. That's a relatively small amount of, again, surface area. But if we spread that out, we're going to set ourselves up for success. You also want to shift forward. You're going to take the weight in your hand and in your foot. And then if you've got the space, right leg reaches back. Now you want to keep your right leg really active, foot flexed, toes spread, strong in the outer hip. Again, it's totally fine if you need both hands down for now. Just do the best you can. Turn your left quadriceps to the left. That'll engage your outer left hip more. If you have the flexibility, you can straighten your left leg, but that's not required. Corset through your waist. Maybe float your right leg a little higher and option, right arm to the ceiling. Breathe here. Corset your waist. Now, if you want to challenge yourself, you can take your gaze up. Last 3, 2, and 1. Release and come down. Okay, now for those of you that are struggling with balance, that's okay. This takes some time. Another thing that you could do if you have a wall is that you could set yourself up, and I'll just show you this real quick on one side. I'm going to take my back to the wall intentionally. And how that would start is you're going to set yourself up so your right hip is touching the wall. You're going to come into the pose and lift up. So the wall can really offer tremendous support here. My right hip is touching the wall, my left leg is touching the wall, my left arm is touching the wall. I'm still doing the pose, I just have a little bit of support behind me. And sometimes that's what we need, just a little bit of support so we can start to develop the strength and learn to engage the right muscles to help us. I hope this was helpful.